Hello, this is Teacher Anne, and today we'll be looking at cubes and cube roots. Let us start with cubes. A cube of a number is the number multiplied by itself 3 times. When we looked at squares and square roots, the square of a number was that number multiplied by itself. So examples, we have 5 cubed. You'll take 5 times 5 times 5, 125. 1.4 cubed is 1.4 times 1.4 times 1.4, that is 2.744. For 5 over 6 cubed, you will get the cube of the numerator and the cube of the denominator. Here we are getting 125 over 216. For negative 6 cubed, you will take negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6 to get negative 216. Remember, when we're having a negative times a negative, or you're working out a negative divided by a negative, we are getting a positive. If you take a negative multiplied by a positive, or a negative divided by a positive, we are getting a negative. So negative 6 times negative 6 is 36. And that multiplied by negative 6 will give us negative 216. So we want to look at using tables to find cubes. And we'll be using this table from our mathematical tables. So let us look at some examples. Use mathematical tables to determine the cubes of each of the following. The first one, 0.25. So the first step is to express the number in standard form. This is in the form a multiplied by 10 power n, where a is any number that is between 1 and 10. It can be 1 or equal to, it can be a is greater than 1 or equal to 1, or a is less than 10. N is an integer and it can be either negative or positive. So 0.25 in standard form will be 2.5 multiplied by 10 power negative 3. You get the cube of that. That is the first step. The second step, express the standard form in fraction. So 10 power negative 1 is the same as 1 over 10. If we had 10 power negative 2, this would be 1 over 100. If we had 10 power negative 3, this would be equivalent to 1 all over 1000. So if you take 2.5 times 1 over 10, this would be giving you 2.5 all over 10. So this is what we have here. We have to get the cube. Step 3. Use cube tables to determine the cube of 2.5. So we are going to go to our cube table, and this is what we have here. We have the column named X, 0 up to 9, and we have the add section. So since we are looking for the cube of 2.5, you will go to column X and go up to 2.5. Since it is only 2.5, our value will be here 15.625. That is step 3. Step 4, we will determine the cube of 10. So that is 10 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 10 to give you 1000. And finally, to get the cube of 0.25, we'll be taking 15.625, this value here, multiplied by 1000, this value here. And the answer will be 0.015625. We can confirm it with our calculators. It should be giving you something similar to this or the exact same answer, something close to the value that you have gotten from the mathematical table. So let us look at 0.25 cubed. You can see we are getting 0.015625. So our value is correct. Let us look at example number 2. We have to find the cube of 1.01. So first of all, you ask yourself if it is in standard form. So 1.01 is between 1 and 10. So you don't have to express it in standard form. It is already in standard form. So let us look at the value in the table of cubes. First of all, you'll go to the column marked X, and then we go to 1.0. That is where we start from, 1.0, and then it is 1.01. So you go up to column 1. What are we getting? 1.030. So the value of 1.01 cubed is 1.030. Let us work it out in our calculator to see what we get. 1.01 cubed, we're getting 1.030301. So it is similar to what our mathematical table is giving us. Example 2, 15.35. So we can see that this value is not in standard form. Now we are going to express it in standard form. It must be more than or equal to 1, and it must be less than 10. So here, to make it fit in that value, in those two values, the decimal point will move towards your left side so that you have 1.535 multiplied by 10 power 1. Why is it a positive integer? When the decimal point moves to the right hand side, for example, if we have 15.35 and the decimal point moves to the other side, it will be 153.5 multiplied by 10 power negative 1. And if you have 15.35, the decimal point moving to the left hand side will be having 1.535 multiplied by 10 power 1. So in standard form, if the decimal point is moving to the right hand side, it will be a negative. If it is moving towards the left hand side, it will be a positive. So now that we have the standard form, let us find the cube of 15.35. So for this case, there is no need of expressing it in fraction because there is no negative integer. It is only 10 raised to power 1. So you can just work with it as it is in multiplication. So let us go to our tables. You will go to 1.5. We have 1.5 here. Then we will go to 3. That is giving us 3.582. Then we'll write what we have gotten. That is 3.582. Then we'll go to the addition column up to 5. So the same row from 1.5 we had there 3. Then we'll go to 5. In the addition column, it is giving us 36. We're now going to add 36 onto what we got, and we are going to be writing it here, 36. So let us add that, 3.582 plus 36. Remember, we are adding it on the decimal side. This is going to give us 8, 11, 6.3. We multiply that by the cube of 10, which is 1000. This is going to give us 3618 as the cube of 15.35. We can confirm it in our calculators. 15.35 cubed is giving us 3616.80, which is pretty close to what we have here. If we look at the cube root of our answer, we are getting 15.35. So we are on the right track. Remember, the calculator should be giving you something exactly like that. The answer you've gotten from the multiplication tables, the mathematical tables, or it should be giving you the exact same answer. So something similar or exact. The next example, 381.7. So this is not in standard form. Let us express it in standard form. So our decimal point will be moving to the left hand side to give us 3.817 multiplied by 10 power 2. We're going to get the cube of that. Because it is not a negative integer here, we are going to leave it in multiplication form. So let us find the cube of 3.817. So on the column X, we are going to 3.8. This is 3.8. And then we are going up to column 1. That is going to be 55.31. So you will write what you have gotten there. That is 55.31. So this is just giving us up to 3.81. So let us see the value on the add column specifically for 7 so that we can get the exact value. So if we go to 3.8, we have 1 here, and on the same row up to 7, you can see there on the add column 7, we have 31. So we are going to add 31 onto what we have, and remember we are adding it on the decimal side. we are getting 55.62. So what is 10 raised to power 2 cubed? Remember, 10 raised to 2 is 100. So we are basically looking for the cube of 100. This is going to be giving us a million. So you will be multiplying 55.62 by 1 million. This will give us the cube of 381.7, which is 55,620,000. Let us confirm on our calculator. If you take 381.7 cubed, you're going to get 55,611,739.51. If you work out the cube root of that answer, you're going to get 381.7, which is similar to what we have in our question. Finally, you could try this on your own. A cubic water tank has sides of length 2.143 meters. Find the capacity of the tank in liters. So to find the capacity, first of all, we have to find the volume. And how will we find the volume? By finding the cube of 2.143 meters. After finding the cube of 2.143 meters, please make sure you attempt this question with a mathematical table. So after finding the volume, you are going to convert it into liters. Remember, 1 cubic meter is equivalent to 1,000 liters. If you find the answer, you can share it in the comment section. Have a lovely week.